We are starting. Hangouts on air is live now. I will make the post on photos worth seeing. I hope it will go. It will. Wow, the post on photos worth seeing is out. We are now streaming and something. I really hope that this will work out because we've been fumbling around with technical problems for the last half an hour. And you can see Fern is still invisible. Heiko, our secret guest. Heiko is on the chat. Not on the chat, of course, he's also on the chat later, but he's on video. Heiko, I can't hear you. Heiko? Heiko, well, I'll just start. I'll just start the intro and we're going to take care of that later. So, a lot is different than usual, even an unusual setting because I'm redecorating my home office. So I'm in the living room. So you see my beautiful living room with us today. And Fern is still not there. He is there, I know, but Fern has terrible connection problems. That's why we will keep this conversation very, very short. Hello, Heiko, our secret guest, third time on the show. I can't hear you, Heiko. Something must be. We've been. I'm sorry. We had last time. We had this. Wow. No. Can you try something? What are you doing? What are you doing? Okay. inConversation 20. We had to push in that show, even though our schedules are really kind of busy lately. But 2 years inConversation, 2 years ago, we started inConversation, and this is even the 20th show, so we had to do that, of course. What are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about photography, of course, like usual, travel photography in particular. And Fern is still not there. Try to kind of he said he will be back trying to get a better connection. But since we have problems with Heiko as well, we there's one thing probably I have to say that because many of the viewers we have are from the US, and for everyone in the US it seems kind of a unusual thing or very strange thing that Fernando, he's here, but I can also not hear him. Fern, hello. Well, whatever. Europe is small, so Heiko, we can't go on like that. Just come over here, and I think it's better. It might be a better idea if Heiko.
Hey, can you hear me now?
Oh, Fern. Yes, I can hear you. But Will, here's a surprise for you, Fern, because I have Heiko right here.
Hi there.
Cool. How did that happen?
I promised a surprise, and we have. Can you do something? You have a really strange sound.
Well, I'm traveling, and I'm on my phone, so maybe that's the problem.
You're on your phone. Where are you, Fern?
Oh, I'm somewhere in Europe.
Europe.
That's
this is
right
cool. Like Europe is pretty small. Why don't you come over and join us?
Europe.
What about that?
No, I wish I could, but what can I do?
Well, Heiko managed. Why can't you manage? Okay, now he's gone. Okay.
Where did Fern go?
Where did Fern go?
I mean, Europe isn't that far away. I mean,
Europe is very small.
It's just like this.
Like Cologne, Munich is.
It's like here. Oh
well. Come over here.
Come here.
Sit here. Oh well, then let's go here. So.
I don't want to sit in the middle of this thing.
What's happening? No.
I have no idea what's going on.
Looked like Fern.
Looked like Fern.
Looked like
Oh.
Fern. No,
He
of
brought-
course.
Okay.
Of course, he's
Okay.
also here. So we promised something really cool. Fern with his inConversation pants.
Shorts. Oh,
We're
no, Fern, really?
3 people. I have my camera also with me,
Oh.
of course.
Wait a second, I have
Heiko
a camera too.
Has some of you might know that currently there's Oktoberfest in Munich. So Heiko and Fern came over for Oktoberfest, and wouldn't it be awesome if we'd only have some beers, right?
The beer would be cool.
Beer would be
Yeah, is there
really
someone can bring us beer?
Beer?
Can someone bring us
Beer.
beer?
Oh,
Beer. I have beer. Hello.
look, it's Stephanie.
So
And she brought beer.
I brought beer.
she's not beer.
Well, I
What
don't
the
know.
heck
You
is
can have it
going
all.
on?
The hell with them. I don't care.
Yeah.
Hello to everyone on the chat. Amy Montico is on the chat. Alok Sharma is on the chat. Jennifer
Hello.
Nature Lover 69 is on the chat.
Hi.
Camila
You
Ruiz
have my computer so I can
is
look at
on the chat. So Fern
Fern also wants
wants to be on the
check
chat.
the
of
chat.
course. So isn't that a surprise? All 4 of us. For those of you who do not know who we are, this is Fernando Socorro, QBN Scholar on tumblr.com, admin of Luxlit.net. This is Heiko, heterotopian, heterotopian.tumblr.com. This is Steffi Ramona.tumblr.com and ramonasfotos.tumblr.com. And wow, my name's Pete. I like pictures and also beer.
Hey.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So,
Okay. Cheers. No, that's not. I know what I'm doing. Fern. Cheers.
and I'm also
To you out there.
like my 2 fellow colleagues of PWS Photos Worth Seeing. So, yeah, .tumblr.com. What are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about
Travel photography. Look, like we are traveling. Fern is traveling from San Francisco, coming over to Munich. I just did the long way from Cologne to Munich, and obviously these 2 guys are living in Munich. And yeah, let's tell these people we've been together now for 3 days. Fern and myself, we arrived on Monday, and since then we've been hanging out together. And of course, obviously, since we all have a camera, we've been taking pictures together, learning from each other, influencing each other, not always in the best way. You see, I'm talking now, they are not. Which must be some kind of different feeling for you. Even you're quiet.
The first time.
Well, that needs to pause. for this.
So, yeah.
I don't know.
Yes, but these guys are the whole day. You
I
should have
know.
heard them fighting all day long about whatever. I don't even remember that. So while Steffi was taking beautiful pictures, I did my best. I had to at least to. I know what happened with Fern. Yeah, there were too many trees and too many people today. I'm sorry, I'm talking too much. So
No. But
No.
I don't have to
How
talk.
do you make him quiet?
How do I make this one?
Thank you.
This is this way, right?
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Fern asking Pete to shut me up. And this is my first beer today, so it's not the alcohol. So travel
Well,
photography.
it was breakfast. It would have been weird if that would have been caused by the beer, right?
Really?
Yeah.
You told me
We've
people
been-
to Oktoberfest.
Probably you
rung a
see
10.
the rings under the bags under our eyes. We've been to Oktoberfest yesterday, so still trying to.
Yeah, he had this great Trachtenhut.
Yeah. Traditional hat.
Trachtenhut.
That Fern.
Trachtenhut.
So, but
Okay.
let's dive into that all. Fern traveling apparently the longest way. Is there something that you, from photography side, learned in these couple of days? Not from us, but from the journey itself, from the travel itself. Is
You
there
mean about
something-
photography or
about
life?
photography? Well, life is also good, but
Well, no, I mean, so yesterday Pete was, what are we going to talk about? We got to talk about photography, blah blah blah. And we were, and I was excited. By the way, I'm probably going to cry. but these three have absolutely been a dream. Yeah, and you both know this. Well, all three of you know this. They asked me, what do you want to do? What do you? I mean, I wanted to see what was it? The
BMW.
The BMW Museum and the Olympic Park. But the rest, I don't give a fuck. I'll go wherever you go. I mean, so absolutely wonderful. Here we go. Yes, we are playing. Absolutely wonderful. Plus, I love Germany. That's my second time here in 3 years, and just amazing. But I am so fucking tired. They're so mean to me. Oh my god, they make me walk.
Oh
my
Oh.
god.
That's involving travel. You wanted to see BMW.
Yeah. No.
Olympic Park.
I'm not complaining, but anyway. But last night I was just like so tired, and Pete's like, "Well, what are we talking about?" I'm just like, I just want to die. I was so tired, and all of a sudden he's like, "Oh, let's talk about travel photography." And I'm like, "Sure, whatever." But then I thought about it, and I thought, "Yeah, go ahead."
No, well, the story went. We came home like really late from Oktoberfest, and I said I have to make the post for inConversation, and I put everything together, and then I didn't know what to talk about, so I went to Fern. Said, what are we going to talk about tomorrow? I said, I don't know. Let's just tell each other that we hate each other, and that you're stupid, and then that's it.
Just stay at the truth.
Yeah.
Let's just say the truth, right.
'Cause that's what's
And
going
then
on
I
here.
said to him, well, you traveled here. Let's talk about travel photography. And he said, no.
No, I
Simply,
did.
no.
Did I?
Yes,
You did.
I did.
You did.
Let's just talk about photography.
Yeah.
And
Oh, that's true.
let's just talk about how much we hate each other. And I said, okay, then I'll just write. We'll talk about photography.
Yes.
So I made the post. About an hour later, it knocked on my door,
I was passed out by then.
Yes.
and Fern came in and said, I have a topic. I know what we're going to talk about tomorrow. I said, what is it? Let's talk about travel photography, because what is it anyway? So we're going to talk about travel
Yes.
photography. Fern's idea.
So,
Yes.
but then for Fern, it's travel photography, for me as well. But how do you guys see it? Like, you live here, you've seen most of the places we've been to. I mean, it's Olympia Stadium, for example. I've been the second time now. Just gives me another, maybe angles is to see some new things. So, but how do you see it when travelers come to your city and you show it to them? Do you see it through a different perspective, or is it just like, oh, I have to see these places again? Yeah. So, Pete.
Well, to an extent, it is travel. I mean, it's a legit question, right? To say what is travel photography anyway? Because as long as you don't stay home in your apartment, you're kind of traveling, right? So there's a question: how much do you carry with you? So maybe the carrying bit is the big question of what is travel photography? What do I take with me, or what will I take with me?
Okay, then let me maybe rephrase it. Like, what can I take with me? Like on Monday, we went to the Olympic Stadium, BMW Welton. We talked about that for 4 times now. But today we actually drove about 100 kilometers. I think we went to the Alps, and we didn't went up there on foot, but with one of the transportation
Cable cars.
of the
Because
cable
of me.
cars up there. So that actually was also already some kind of travel for you. I mean, you've been there also, obviously, because they did some scouting before, and you've already seen some of them beautiful pictures from there on their blogs. But today it was like, you saw the places, but you also saw them in a different light. You told us, like last time it was more cloudy, and today we had amazing sunshine. It was blue sky. It was warm. It was just fantastic to take pictures, I think. Now, what the question was?
I think
Travel photography, and how do you perceive it from coming from these places?
I think every time you visit a place, the light is different. It's different. Maybe it's the same place, but you take different photos. Sometimes a different angle, or you see something new. Um, so I think it's always a little different. You took different photos than I do, or so I learned from that too.
Yeah, because I mean, sometimes one of them will be taking pictures of something, and I'm sure it's the same for them. And then we'll see we'll see one of the four of us going, taking, oh, what the fuck are they doing? What are they looking at? Oh, wow, that's so cool. But and you still wind up taking the different picture,
Mm.
that is a very good point, actually. But the two things that unless you unless you only live in your apartment or your house, you're in a sense always traveling, you know. So again, my question of what I mean, I kind of get what travel photography is. It's like when you go and you travel and you try to take pictures of stuff that's new and everything. But it's like you just said, you go somewhere and you always see something different. I
Mm.
mean, even like I've tried to take a couple of pictures with my new camera that were the same as that were similar to pictures I took with my first camera, and even almost standing and knowing exactly what those original pictures look like, you just don't get the same thing for all the reasons you said. So it's and then the what do you take? But here's so but my thing, and why I said what is travel photography, is that you hear talk about it and so on, but really, and maybe this is a question for the three of you, because I know what my answer is. Does your style change when you're traveling? I mean, do you have a
Oh,
different
yes.
point of view, or do you? I mean, are you a different photographer when you're taking pictures of the Olympic Stadium, for example?
I think that the whole point about uh, the difference of travel photography is that, I mean, where do you start? Again, is it travel photography? You say I go out for 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, or 2 weeks, 5 weeks. That's a big difference, because if I go shooting for like 2 days or 3 days, I can stick with one memory card. That's enough. I have to have a handful of spare batteries with me. All right, but and there's probably not so much problem to say, well, okay, I don't know which lens I will take with me or which camera I will take with me. It's rather that because it's only 1 day or 2 day, 2 days. So if I'm on the road for like a week or two or a month or three or whatever, then I will be thinking quite intensely about what do I really want to take with me. Do I want to take the tripod with me? Because it's just one more thing that I have to carry around, right? So today we went by car, so I put my tripod in the trunk, and but then it sat in the car when we went up the mountain. Later, when we went down to the lake, I said, well, maybe on the lake I'll need it, and I took it with me. So I don't think that um, this is. I think it's rather a question of improvisation, in terms of I can't take everything with me that I need or probably might need if I go traveling for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Um, so I have to improvise a bit more,
Oh,
and I have to get sure that I mean the most important part, at least in digital photography, of course, is to have the enough memory cards and enough batteries with us. I mean your batteries, because it was pretty cold when we were at the Olympic Stadium. Steph's batteries ran out, or battery ran out. So
we only carry one.
because she only took
Yeah,
one with
those
her
days.
instead of two, and I have four with me always. And what's happening?
Spider.
A bug, right? It's a bug, not a feature. And
Not a guest.
not again.
Not
Well,
another one.
maybe traveled.
But back to
Can I
yeah,
just
of
finish?
course.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's good.
So I had 4 or 5 batteries with me, 4 batteries with me, because I always have 4 batteries with me. And said, well, okay, it's no problem. Take one of my batteries, and it didn't fit a camera. So then I went to Heike and said, well, do you have a spare battery? And, yeah, but it doesn't fit. So 3, and it's kind of funny because they're all 3. We all have Canon cameras. I have the 700D. Heiko has the 60. Steph has the 750D. And we have 3 different types of batteries. So that's something to have in mind, even if you're in a group. And Fern has a Sony camera, so it's a completely different thing. So,
But I do have an extra battery, and I always
yeah,
charge directly up to the camera.
as I said, so that's the thing to plan ahead a bit. What can happen, and what do I really need? I have, for example, always a little travel tripod in my camera bag. It's just a small tripod whenever I need one. Isn't really heavy. So I think that's rather the point of travel photography. What do I really need? What are the absolute essentials of what I might need, and can I shoot everything that I can imagine with that?
Okay, that's where I wanted to get in. Like, Fern, for example, is coming from San Francisco, and yeah, he had even more to think about. What do I bring? Me coming from Cologne like this, I still was thinking, what lenses do I bring? I mean, basically, I just have the 24-105 lens, and then I have a zoom lens. But I was thinking, do I bring the zoom lens? But then again, I hate changing lenses, and it would just be um, way more luggage to get with me. So I said, no, I just bring my camera, my lens. I didn't have a second battery yet, but since the camera is still new, the battery is okay. I didn't need to recharge. I recharged it in the evening, so that's okay. I know I will be here just for 4 days. I will get along with one SD card, even though if I bring 1 or 5 SD cards, doesn't take up that much space. It's more like with the lenses, like you living in Munich. Yeah, I think you took at least 2 or 3 lenses with you all the time.
Well, I had my this has become my always on lens, the 24 millimeter 2.8. This is literally always on my camera, and so, but it's a prime lens, so I can't change focal length, and I comparatively wide angle even on a crop camera. And then I took my 28-135 with me, so to have a bit more zoom. But that was it. And I thought about, well, I'll take my 50 with me, but why? What are the advantages of my 50 millimeter prime lens? Well, picture quality is great. It's a very fast lens, so I get a lot of light in. But the angle on my crop camera is comparatively small, so this is nothing that there. I couldn't imagine something that I would want to take a photo of where with which I would really need that specific lens. So it wasn't in the camera bag, but today I let it in the car. When we were in the Olympic Stadium, I knew, okay, I need wide angle shots. I would make wide angle shots, so I had my 24 on the camera. Bless you. On the Xundi. That was German. Xundi. And my 24 millimeter on the camera most of the time. So interestingly enough, I bought the 28 135 for a vacation to Greece, because I said the year before that I traveled to Venice, and in Venice I realized, okay, I shoot mostly, because that was, well, of course, a city trip. I shoot mostly in the range of around 28 millimeter, 24 millimeter, 28 millimeter. I shot a lot with a kit lens, 18 to 55. And so I realized later by checking the pictures, okay, I mostly shoot like 24, 28 millimeter. And so that's why I bought the 28 135 to have that. have these 28 millimeter and still have that zoom possibility to get closer. So, and I bought that for the year later for the vacation in Greece when like climbing through old ruins of temples and stuff.
Why do you look at me when you say old ruins?
I wanted to include
You are so easily offended.
Because he looked straight at me and said, "Old ruins." Well, he didn't do this, but he might have. He was thinking.
I was just thinking it, and still.
There you go. Anyway, continue.
No, I won't say anything about
No,
about
continue
the
with
discussion
your
about
no,
the
we're not
discussion
about the
of
old
being
stuff.
offended that we
Oh
had.
no,
no,
let's
had
get to
this
that again.
afternoon.
Not we had that already today. But then let me get back to your question of are you a different photographer when you're on vacation? Me taking with me the 24-105. That's the lens I usually also use at home when I'm on the road there, just because I like the range from 24 to 105. It gives me a lot of possibilities. Actually, I would.
But these are really, sorry to interrupt, but these are really 24 millimeter because this is a full format camera, right?
Yeah,
So you
it is.
really have your
And,
24 millimeter are wider than the 24 millimeter on my camera.
Yeah, that's right. We checked that out. But still, this is actually the range that I shoot with. I like the 24 as well. I would actually love to have an even wider range, but okay, you can't have everything. So this is basically the range I shoot at home as well as I'm on travel, because I get the whole range that I usually want. I got my zoom lens for my animal photography. I do sometimes, but then like Pete says, do I really need it on vacation? I took it last week. I was on vacation as well. I took it with me there, and I think I used it for about half an hour just to get some shots in. But then I didn't even bother to take it with me. That's why I left it at home this week altogether. It doesn't make sense simply because it's what I shoot with when I'm in that kind of environment.
So no, how many lenses do you use?
2, most of the time. The 24 millimeter, like Pete.
Also 24.
Also, like Pete.
Oh.
Look.
Oh yeah, the cameras. So we all have our cameas, by the way.
Yeah.
We
Mine
pretty
is
much
the same, the 24.
right. We pretty
It's
much
not Pete's, it's mine.
We've all been walking around with our cameras. Yeah,
Like see,
all
we
the
have
time.
4 of them.
Yeah, one for each. So
Yeah.
you and did you just took your 24, right? You didn't, because I didn't see you switch lens. Did you?
Oh, I switched.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
You switched at the
yeah,
Olympic Park,
yeah.
I think. Yeah.
With the 60 millimeter,
Yeah.
with a macro, and I can get a little bit closer. Most of the time, I use
60
these
60 millimeter
lenses.
macro
Yes.
lens.
Right.
Right.
Was
Sorry.
that at, no, that
No,
wasn't
I
at the
was
Olympic
asking.
Park. That was at the
No.
Palace where you switched. Didn't you?
At the
Scary.
palace, and today I switched
And today,
off.
okay.
Mhm.
Oh, I didn't see you switch today. Yeah, and
Most of the time I switch more often, but the last days was a bit uncomfortable
oh, okay.
with the
Yeah.
Yeah, with the crutch. Because she's got a walking issue. She had a so she's been on a crutch.
Even at Starbucks, they wrote her a cup with cripple on it.
No,
So-
they did.
No,
not.
it was crutch. It was crutch. It wasn't cripple.
No.
I'm sorry. It was crutch. It was crutch. Yeah, of course
Um,
they did.
Yes.
But no, because the reason I asked was
Wasn't you?
no, because it goes back to the question of, are you a different photographer? I only use the one lens, and I have the same as Heiko, the 24 to 105, and mine is a full format. What is it? A full
frame.
Yeah, full frame camera. So, but I don't. I just can't picture. And we even talked about, well, maybe having another smaller camera, and I tried that for a while. I had the little Fuji 100 X100, but I just like, and I'm in love with my camera anyway. I just like having the one camera, the one lens. Just the idea of having to switch and everything, especially as long as I sometimes will sit to get the picture just right, and then doing all of that, it just doesn't make sense to me. But I actually didn't ask for because of the equipment. I just asked because after you asked me that question as to what, and I thought of what is travel photography, I was thinking about the shots in the palace, and I found myself in this beautiful place, not necessarily taking pictures of the beautiful place and the garden and all that stuff. Yeah, I took a couple of pictures because you want to show people where you were, and I've actually been using my
I have
camera
to
phone.
say, we also have been at in Munich at Nymphenburg Castle or
Yes.
Nymphenburg Palace, which is castle, palace, whatever you might call it, from the what is it?
18th century?
18th century,
I think it's
19th century, something.
No, I think it's 18.
I would say
18th
it's 18th.
18th,
Yeah, I
probably
think so.
around
So
the
it's-
18th
yeah,
century.
yeah.
So, like, it looks a bit like a small version of, if you know it, Versailles in Paris. So it's kind of this. When I grow up, I'll be Versailles type of castle. That's
Yeah.
in Munich, very close to the Olympic Stadium. We went
Right.
there, and so we went also inside.
Yes.
So that just is an explanation
Yeah.
what Fern's talking about.
Yeah, and so I mean, it's all these gorgeous gardens which we really didn't walk out into because it was kind of cold, and we were also really tired and we wanted to go somewhere else. But walking inside the palace, I mean, there's all these gorgeous interiors and these paintings, and I didn't take what people would usually traditionally take. I took the kinds of pictures that I always take, something that's sort of off kilter or very much focused on the shapes instead of what I'm looking at. Instead of, I mean, the gorgeous paintings. I have several pictures that have paintings in them, but they include parts of furniture or parts of those decorations on the wall or so on. And to me, well, you know, because we were talking about that yesterday when I was looking at them and how it's just my vision and the way I take pictures of things didn't change. But so that's what my question is. What is travel photography? When people talk about travel photography, what are they talking about?
Okay. Just thinking about it, when we went to the, what is it called, Alpsee? When we went to the Alpsee, which is under the Zugspitze, one of the biggest mountains in Germany, I found myself just taking a picture of the mountain and the lake in front. I felt, wow, this is so touristy. Like, I mean, I take these shots, but then again, I think they're just this usual picture you take. These pictures I took when I was 10 with my parents. I was in the same area, and I took the same shots back then. And this is not necessarily the photography I take today. So then I probably just I put the camera away, took my phone out, made some pictures with my phone to show some friends of mine. So that's kind of the tourist photography, and maybe we should, or we can, separate between tourist photography and travel photography, as we all call ourselves photographer, amateur photographer, whatever. But we are all looking for a certain kind of shot there, and we just travel while doing it.
But that's interesting that you say that, doing or taking photos with a phone for family, touristy, because when we were on the summit today, on the, what was the name of the mountain, Alpspitze.
It was cool, by the way.
Very cool, very cool. We saw some. Did you take photos of the paragliders? Because I did.
Yeah, I did. I took some pictures of the paragliders.
Pretty cool. And so I was there with my because that was the point, right? I thought, okay, I have my 24 millimeter, which is wide enough, and I have my 28 135 if I need to zoom in. And then I was on that gorgeous summit with this amazing view, really beautiful light. Last time I was there, it was like really cloudy. It's very dramatic clouds, really cool. But today it was very different, and I forgot my 1855 in the car. So what to do? I wanted to take that or do these 2-3 shots. So I took my phone because it's much more wide angle, right? if that, because and it's the easier, and I always look there because usually my camera is there, and I just got so used to looking in the direction of the camera, but the camera is there now because I'm sitting higher. So I'm not ignoring you. It's just that I train myself to look at the whatever. So um, it was just much easier to take the phone to have that wide angle than taking a panorama shot with the DSLR. And so that's one of the things I think is also something interesting for travel photography. How easy can you can because since you have to often you have to improvise, you see something, how fast can you work? Last time I was there, I had my little action cam with me that had an even wider angle, so I took photos that I wasn't able to take today. So there's this. I think this is just another level to see.
Because it has to do with the paraglass. It's funny that you say you wanted the wider angle. That was the one moment I was thinking, damn, now I would like my zoom angle to get them closer.
Well, could have asked. You could have used mine.
But
the 30 from 105 to 135. Then I would really love my 300.
Yeah, okay.
And get that shot.
I found my 300 today again.
Woohoo!
All right. I lost it and I found it today again.
So tell me what you were talking about with Stefan and I especially were really into the picture taking at the palace. And what were you saying about Pete especially and his interest in being in the palace and taking pictures in the palace? Remember you said that he wasn't interested and that he wasn't taking. Go ahead.
Can I one thing, because I need to with chat. I have the chat in the end. We're gonna talk about what's going on in the chat after that. So we're not ignoring you. I'm just short-sighted. I don't see what's happening on the screen, so I have to.
So go ahead.
Sorry.
No, what did I say?
Remember that you said.
I said that Pete's
not interested
in architecture, photography, and you once said to me, you don't understand them.
But then to call on you, Fern, as well. Like today, you were running like straight through the mountains.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, because this is not your kind of
That's
photography.
exactly. I mean, I took some pictures, but
I know. But that's actually funny with these four photographers we are. Everybody has a different type of photography he likes, and every time one of us was faster than the other, or mostly it was two people who were taking pictures. Like in the castle, it was Steffi and Fern who were taking a lot of pictures. And
we were just having fun.
Yeah, we were having fun about that. We had fun about that. So today it was more like Steffi and me taking pictures. Well, they were arguing all. Yeah, he's interested too, but today he was more interested in arguing with Fern. But let's not get that started again.
but it's true though, and it's funny because at the Olympic Stadium, all four of us were taking a bunch of pictures.
No, I don't.
But you took.
I took like 4 pictures.
Really?
Yeah.
Because then you were in my way all the time.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
you wanted to talk with you,
but
to you.
But even at
doesn't listen.
At the I heard you. He doesn't listen. At the museum at the BMW place, you and I were like going nuts.
And
Heiko, yes, Heiko too.
Yeah.
But it was really interesting because that's what made me think about it too. I mean, I took pictures at the mountains and stuff, but what I did, Alok, is speaking of the cell phone, was that I at the mountains used my cell phone a lot more, and I shot videos, which I've been sending to my family and friends back home to show them, like the Autobahn and all that stuff. Because it's just not stuff that inspires me to take the kinds of angular, kind of abstract stuff that I usually do. And I felt fine by that because I had a wonderful time. When we were at Oktoberfest, the woman who stopped you, I was walking around with because I barely took pictures at Oktoberfest. And actually, when I took pictures, what happened?
He got yelled at.
I got
No.
yelled.
I didn't get yelled.
Yes, I did.
Yes,
What do you want? You didn't see it.
You
me? I got yelled
I
at.
thought you were talking about the
no,
woman.
no. I was getting a waffle, and the Fern was obviously taking pictures of me.
But hold on. But the thing is, they're here, and there is a corner, and I was across from it taking pictures at them because I would have been behind them. So I was taking pictures where you could see the young woman working, you could see the inside of the shop, and then or the truck, and then you could see them taking their orders. All the pictures sucked, by the way; they were horrible. But I was taking all these pictures, and then go ahead.
And then that guy was kind of offended because you can't take pictures of people like this. And he was obviously.
Oh, and in German,
he was talking in German to him. Fern had no idea what was going on, and there was this young lady who took my order, and she was like, "I have no idea what's going on." I mean, I made fun with her about it all and tried, "Fern, don't take pictures here, don't take pictures here." He's offended, and he was just, "How can you do that? How can you take pictures?" He was really yelling at him, but. Actually, this brings me to another point of travel photography. There's always, in other countries, there are always different rules. Like what Fern experienced yesterday, I experienced in Athens last time I was, or one of the times I was there. Like we were taking pictures at the train station, was a Piraeus train station, and I took a picture there. And it took the police or the guardian. There were guardians there. No pictures, no pictures. I walked into a mall, had my camera like this under me, and said, "No pictures." So Greece is obviously a country you just can't take pictures in public places, especially when there are other people.
Yeah.
Other people at Oktoberfest had no ideas. I took so many pictures there.
You can simply ask, like, when we arrive or when we collect. No, it was the first day we were here. The second day you arrived.
The 5 guys on the train.
The 5 guys on the train
waiting.
And I need to say something about cell phone photography as well. They were like, because for Fern, of course, for us, and I guess for you, people in traditional clothing, lederhosen, dirndl, etc., is not really something that we even realize they're wearing that, right? I mean, it's not the most common thing, but especially during Oktoberfest, everyone not everyone, but a lot of people are running around wearing them. And for Fern, it was like there were these 4 guys standing at the train station dressed up in lederhosen. And
in the morning.
At 11 in the morning.
With beer in the hands.
With beer in the hands. That's just what you do, because the beer in the beer tents is
well, no, we weren't there. We were here.
Here. The beer tents are just
you have your beer
first.
In
the beer tents is just fucking expensive
as shit.
Like, and
mine was tasty.
Like 10 times as much, literally 10 times as much as if you buy
a
bottle of beer. Yeah. So
it was good.
Whatever. And Fern was just, how can I say, he was enchanted by these 4 young guys in tight lederhosen.
Oh, please. He was paying more attention than I was. I just thought these cool people with lederhosen.
Yeah, right. But
it's true.
They were more concerned about
I want to take a picture. I want to take a picture. I said, well, ask them, right? And he did.
No, I said, should I ask them if I should take a picture? That's what I said.
Oh,
yeah.
I misunderstood.
Yeah, and I just said, ask them. They posed for him, and Fern took his pictures.
And they were happy.
And the pictures sucked, by the way.
Yeah, that was another problem.
Yeah, but
that happens
because your autofocus was off.
Yeah, I had it on manual. But here's the thing. I was walking around, and that's what's really, and that goes back to the cell phone. I don't know if this is what you're going to talk about. I walked around twice, I think, in the tent, and at one point I walked around almost the whole tent, the whole dance floor, like 3.5 minutes, shooting video, walking around, the camera in people's faces at times because they're walking back and forth. Nobody said diddly squat damn, because people are used to it, and it's video, and it's Oktoberfest, and everybody knows it's the festival, yada 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 yada. So even for that kind of thing, and the video you get on your phones nowadays is usually incredible. So that is one of the options too. But the funny thing was the woman, when we're leaving, I'm taking the second set of just walking and taking video, and all of a sudden Pete is walking next to me,
and I took I wanted to take, or I did take, photo of Fern making video in the beer tent, and suddenly this woman, I didn't know her, right? She just walked up to me and said, "Don't just look with your camera, look with your eyes." And I said, "Well, see, if I wouldn't look with my eyes, I couldn't take pictures with my camera." And then she started. I have my moments. She started to talk like about social media and stuff like that. So what? Hello, the Mazette, by the way, on the chat.
Hi.
Why Steffi is the only one without a hat?
Because she has beautiful hair.
There we go.
I said
it first. Now she's getting a hat as well, just for you.
So whatever. Where was I? And so she started to rant on about social media and that people don't ever do. And I said, okay, listen, this guy, I pointed to Fern, this guy and we met each other through social media, and now he's here, traveled all the way from California to Bavaria so that we can meet here and take photos. That's also a thing that social media does. Yes. And then she said, well, it's not everything is bad, right?
Oh, I missed that. Well, I didn't understand any of this because it was loud as hell.
And then she started talking
German,
she started talking about how she worked with.
When did that happen? Was I in love with my beer?
You were with Steffi walking.
Okay.
Right.
You had gone
and then
out.
She started talking about how she worked. What is that?
Steffi found a hat.
I found the hat.
Then she was talking about how she works with disabled children, and I said, yeah, okay, fine, good for you, I'm happy for you, awesome. But so, why do you tell me that, right?
The look on your face the whole time, because yeah.
And Fern always said the things, don't argue with her. Don't argue. I want to shut her up. I want to run away because he knows that I like to argue with people and discuss with people on the street. And it's not argue with her. So I don't want. I just want to shut her up. So that's the thing. But let's go back to cell phones, because Alok Sharma wrote on the chat, was about to ask, I get my cell out and shoot and get stuck for light. What I get of that, so that you often have the problem with light with the cell phone, and that's easier. And I agree with that it's much easier to control a camera usually than a cell phone. And so in low light or in different lighting conditions,
cell phone. Pardon? You just don't have the right cell phone.
He's got an iPhone. You know how they are. Yeah, but here's the thing. But there's also.
Can I finish?
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were finished.
I was almost done.
Did you hear that?
No,
it wasn't me who said it.
I ignore her anyway.
Okay. All right.
Sorry.
I didn't even hear it. I will later.
Okay.
So,
anyway, go finish, please.
Try.
There's one thing about cell phones is that current cell phones are pretty good if it comes to photos, and it's all in many cases it's a matter of the right app. So the shipped app, the standard app is usually the iPhone app is pretty good, but you don't have too much control over, and that's over the photos. Yeah. There are other apps there that allow you to do almost everything that you can do with any other camera, changing ISO, changing exposure time, etc., etc., etc. So that's one thing. But indeed, I prefer to shoot with my camera than with my iPhone because of the level of control I have. What I did or do lately is to shoot comparatively much with my tablet, because it's it's simply because it's bigger. I can hold it, but I have a small tablet. But I find it incredibly hard to hold my cell phone and to take decent pictures because it's so small and you can camera shake, etc., etc., etc. So there's a thing you might, if you have problems with light, then you might want to check if there's a different app. Some of them are called like DSLR. Look for them, and I can. What is the I can check what I have a pretty good one, but it's a pay app.
Let me
It's
ask.
called Hedge Cam. That's that I use on my tablet, which I'm pretty happy with.
Let me ask Alex Sharma first. You think cell phone draw more curious eyes? What do you mean? Like people look at you strangely? Can you elaborate on that? Because in my opinion, how I see it, I draw way more attention when I am with my DSLR than while I'm with my cell phone, because everybody nowadays takes out the cell phone, take pictures, and it's nobody really cares. But if you put like something like this into their eyes, people are like, "Oh, don't take a picture." Even I mean, that's
Yeah.
what kind of what Fern experienced, and that's also when I would go on. Let's say I go to Oktoberfest and put my camera into someone's eye, he would be like, "Oh no, you can't take a picture of me like that." When I'm with my cell phone,
No problem.
it would be no problem at all taking the pictures of the most drunken people. When I'm with my camera, they would probably punch me in the face. So, is that what you mean with that, Alec?
Which is kind of interesting because
Yeah.
the delay. Because photos with a cell phone usually end up somewhere on social media.
Exactly.
So people are like, "Oh, it's just a cell phone. It's just a smartphone. It's just a tablet." And oh, this guy has the big camera. They're more afraid of the big camera, even though if you're shooting with a cell phone, chances are much bigger that your embarrassing photo will end up on Facebook or Instagram or whatever.
But there's so go ahead.
No, I just agreed.
Oh, so the other thing is there's the big camera, and I was looking at Heiko's, and there's also the cameras like the Fuji, the X100, which is the fixed lens 24 millimeter, but it's actually 35 millimeter equivalent, blah blah blah. But it's just a small fixed lens camera. And those people aren't afraid of either, because I had one for a while. And what was really interesting about that one specifically, because Fuji makes them look very much like the older cameras, and then it had like a brown leather case on it. People actually didn't mind, but they did notice the camera, and they would come up and comment. That happened to me several times, which was interesting. But the other thing, getting back to the technology with cell phones, the other issue, because you mentioned Alak Sharma mentioned the light issue, and listening to Pete, and yes, I was listening, damn you. The other issue is with the cell phone. I'm assuming you're usually shooting to get JPEGs. I know some of the phones now will let you, and some of the apps may let you choose RAW, so you can fix those issues afterwards a lot easier, than you can with a JPEG. So there's that issue for me to consider too. Plus about the holding on your hand, and I think we talked about this at some point. Personally, to me, it doesn't feel like I'm taking like I'm being a photographer. There's just something about holding a camera, and by that I mean like a DSLR or an SLR, something with interchangeable lenses, or even like the Fuji. But the bigger cameras, there's something about the feel and the heft of it just in my hand, and we've talked about that before. Just inspires me to take pictures and to think about what I'm doing and so on. And I shoot auto. I mean, I have everything on auto. I sometimes will use manual for certain things, but I shoot auto. I have no problems. Shutter priority, aperture priority. I shoot aperture for priority. But there's that too. So bottom line is, you do what you got to do, and the hell with it.
Okay, Alec, thank you for elaborating on that one.
Oh yeah.
Maybe it really is a cultural thing. Like in India, people are more afraid of cell phones than they're from the DSLR. Maybe because they're also more educated in that area. I don't know. Like they know what it takes for a good picture, and that if someone takes a picture with a DSLR, it's probably of a higher quality or something, and probably it won't end up on social media. I've honestly no idea what kind of social media people use in India, and how um, if and in what range and what frequency pictures are uploaded on social media,
And what the laws are.
and yeah, exactly what are the laws on that. And here you take a picture with a cell phone, nobody cares because everybody does it. But here, when they see a DSLR, oh, I have a right to my picture. But it's your rights might be way more violated with a cell phone because it's immediately uploaded on Instagram, Facebook, whatever. I think there's something called Snapchat, whatever. So
Yeah.
that's really a thing. So, but with the DSLR, you take them home, you can have a really good quality shot and everything. So, I mean, I don't take street photography, street portraits, or anything. But if I would go up to someone and ask them, I would also ask them, "Hey, do you want to get my email so I can send you the picture?" Probably. Maybe that's the thing there as well. So that you at least give the opportunity for that.
Maybe that's the thing. I mean, we talk. Well, its topic is travel photography.
Yeah, it's still kind of
Maybe
fun.
that's the thing. If you intend to do travel photography, and especially people photography, street photography, maybe if you want to do that and do that, um, print some cards, right, with your
Yeah.
email address.
I do
to-
have
to
these.
give it-
I
to
do
give-
have. I have such cards actually.
This is pretty cool. Right? To give it people say, hey, I would love to take a photo. I'm a travel photographer. Maybe
Yeah, so here's my
Here's
card.
my card.
Contact me if you want. If you
want
want
the photos,
to.
I'll send them to you.
I'll send them to you. No problem at all, because it's their right to a picture actually. So, but it's also thinking about India. I remember. I'm not sure if it was really India, but it was like from Asia also, portraits from mountain people and things, and
What
where
a mountain.
people who are living in the mountains.
I'm
Sorry,
sorry.
I had half a beer.
Sorry.
No,
Just
thanks for
asking.
asking. So people are living in the mountains, and they were people going up there and taking portraits of these people and people in general. But they ask these people, and oh look how now they are best buds again.
Because you scare me.
Why? Because I was talking about mountain people and you might look like one.
BFF.
Well, no, but he was so I'm going to look for it because one of the people on YouTube I listen to a lot is Sean Tucker, and there's another one. I think I posted it on LuxLit, but I'll share the link. And he was talking about his issues with doing street photography, which he likes to do. And one of the things he said too is if someone, for example, if he takes pictures of big areas, let's say it's a wall on the street and there's shadows, and then those kinds of very high contrast pictures with someone walking through or something like that. And what he will usually do is if someone approaches him and says, "Oh, you took my picture," and he'll just go, "I mean, if you don't want me to use it, fine. But hey, look, nobody can tell who you are. It's from a distance. It's not about you. It's about your shape and how you interact with this and that." I mean, he doesn't quite go into it that way, but you can do that too. I mean, and it still just depends on how you approach it. But anyway, let's get back to the travel photography. What is travel photography? Go. What is travel photography? Steph, what is travel?
Yeah.
She's
We're
been
not-
too
we're
quiet.
on the spot.
Okay.
She never talks.
Because we are talking all the time, and I include myself there
What?
in the talking.
Being able to move while taking photos, Steph.
Oh.
Burn. Sick burn.
Oh.
You can hit him with your crutch.
No,
No,
I cannot. Okay, let's do that round because I wanted to ask her something about. No, can I do that first because
Okay, go ahead.
we passed it because you said or you asked about how did your way of or your style
yeah.
change? did you, because you had that accident, you have a crutch, not a crutch. I learned today it's pronounced crutch, not crutch.
It's crutch
Something
for the
different.
walking.
Amy,
Because I
exactly.
said, oh, can I touch your crutch? And then Fern laughed. And no, it wasn't. It didn't happen. I just wanted to bring that stupid joke. Okay, whatever.
Crutch.
Did your photography, or did you shoot differently now with being having that
Yeah.
crutch, so not being able to do all the weird angles that you usually do?
Yeah, I wasn't able to do all the angles. I often have weird angles, you know. Me, I'm always make this, and I didn't change the lens so often as I would have, because it was then was a bit.
Do you think you missed a shot? Do you think you would have
No.
gotten other
No,
shots?
no. Sometimes I like it to be what's eingeschränkt, to be don't have all
Restricted.
the.
So you like it to be restricted?
Sometimes yes, because then I need to look differently than I do all the time. Yes. So I couldn't do this angles or change the lens. So
We sorted that
Huh?
out already,
Sorry.
Pete.
Yeah.
So,
I just
but-
read
now
Amy's comment.
moment.
Oh,
I just read
Okay.
Amy's comment.
so remember when we were looking at that
Amy,
building?
I included her, right? So
But even
I
he
want
sometimes
the
problems
credits.
getting a word
So-
in.
I want the credits.
So remember when we were walking on the bridge to go to Oktoberfest, and there was that really cool building that has all those bars on the top that I was trying to take a picture of, and I almost got lost
Oh yeah, the
when we were first walking on the bridge. Remember? Then we
I
talked-
don't remember you get lost so often.
This is true. This is true. That's what's really funny. And we usually walk in pairs, and then every once in a while, one of us stops and starts taking pictures of something, and everybody has to stop and look. I mean, and it's true though. But remember,
yeah.
that you were saying all the surroundings and
The
all the
bus,
signs, and it's
the bus
horrible.
station. Mhm.
Yeah,
It is easier
So that building and
to
it's exactly what
take
you said,
care
though, that challenge
of a
of trying to find,
5-year-old
the right
than
way to get
of
stuff.
Fern.
And
He's
that's
like,
the thing. Even
"Oh,
it still
a
changes
squirrel.
the way you're doing it,
Boom,
still takes
he's
the same
gone.
kind of- what is
oh, a flower.
Ah.
Boom,
What is
he's
that?
gone."
He's telling stories.
We were
Come on,
searching for him
sit
all the
down
time.
again.
What is he doing? So anyway, so
Yeah.
but that's interesting. That's a good question. Anyway, go ahead, because you
Yeah.
still can take the kind of photography you take. Because I saw you a couple of times just on the ground, like taking pictures. And I'm like, damn, she's good. So yeah. Anyway.
So let's put it like this: it's pretty challenging to go out with 3 photographers. Okay, let's say 4 photographers. Everybody has some kind of a different angle, different scenery, objective, subject, whatever you want to call it. And you basically always have to wait for someone. But the other thing is, usually it goes by groups of 2. With us, it worked pretty well. Then again, I guess everybody got like kind of a story about him these days. I mean, Fern got the most of stories. He doesn't even know most of them. Like yesterday, he really actually we went Oktoberfest. Everybody was at Oktoberfest at some point or saw pictures. It's so crowded, so many drunken people, and Fern, he was fascinated by everything. Really. I mean, it was cool, cute, and
Gorgeous.
gorgeous.
Sometimes cool, cute, and gorgeous at
But
the
the
same
mountains-
time.
but the mountains was the same thing. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
but
fascinated.
yesterday the problem was
Yeah.
really that there were 100,000 people.
Oh my
at
God,
something.
yeah.
Don't know
So
how many
scared.
people there are.
And
I mean, it's
everyone
great.
wore that hat.
Exactly. So when we were 3 people looking out for Fern and ourselves, obviously, and yeah, we guys. Oh, where is he gone now? Where is he gone now? And
And
we
he didn't wear these pants, or else we would have
luckily,
seen him.
otherwise he would have seen him on TV and later at the police station. So he will now learn it later that we gave him his own name, and we just called him Bua or Boop. And I got it
Guy.
by it's meaning little boy.
Should I
And
take
so
this?
we said that he has an attention span of a 5-year-old. Oh, that's a scribble. Oh, and we were like, oh, where's the book?
Oh, well, that's right.
So and
This-
that's why we
sorry?
actually got him this hard. Yeah, you
Fish.
told.
But it's Bavarian. It says Fischerpur, which means cute little boy.
But he was not the only one who got some. Steffi also got something.
Yes, and this is the way we.
So
we
this
we were
is
able
what
to
Steffi
find
got
Steffi.
there at the Oktoberfest. Like she got her own unicorn. Me, obviously, I got a beer which I bought myself. So we got actually 2 beers, one for those 3 and one for
That's
myself.
right, yes.
And I got also something. I got the blame.
Yeah, somebody has
But
to
you
be
deserve
blamed.
the
so-
blame.
Well,
Oh.
look, you
you did-
still have your wristband on.
Yes, and you
All right.
you did get something. You got us lost.
Oh, you
got
them lost.
He always gets us lost. We never follow him. So
But
No.
but anyway, so but that's an interesting point, even about the travel, and because you went crazy taking pictures, especially towards the end. Remember? with
oh
the
yeah,
lights?
me too.
Mhm.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
no, but I don't think you
No,
took
no.
as many as Steffi did.
Probably not.
But so what you were taking was that travel photography for you.
No, I would say with travel photography, I don't change my kind of photography. Like you all, I take some memory photos with my cell phone, but I also take photos with my cell phone I post later. So, but then I have to show something for the family. And yeah, no, but travel photography, you see different things. Every area has different architecture, landscape, people. It's completely different. So Berlin and Munich, it's the same country, but they are different. The 2 worlds. I can't take the photos I took in Berlin here in Munich. It
Yes.
isn't possible.
Yes. Yes.
So your
yes.
photography does change according to where you are.
Well, your
But
sub
not,
is
the,
it?
but not the style.
There we go. That's what I was gonna.
Yeah,
what I was
that's
gonna-
Not the
what-
style changed, but the subject.
Yeah, it's the subject that's different.
Yes.
That's also with me.
But doesn't it's a serious question.
Yeah.
Doesn't that's what I realized with my own photography. Like I wouldn't call it style. I'm not vain enough to say that I
Oh,
have.
please,
a
you
style.
have a
No,
style.
no.
You
it's-
have a
it's-
star.
I don't see
Yeah,
my.
yeah,
It doesn't
you-
matter,
you-
right?
okay.
Let's
Yeah,
just
okay.
go
Give me
with
that.
that. It's not. You put it on my
I know.
lap, so give me that. So I wouldn't say that I have a style. I don't know how to describe my photography. I have a couple. It doesn't matter. So when I go to a place, I saw it in when I was in Rome. It was my kind of thing. I had landscape plus old buildings. Now I did it on purpose. Old
Oh, because I like
ruins,
to
I'm
take
sorry.
pictures of old buildings. Yes.
Yeah,
I do.
exactly.
I like the
So
old
and this interplay between nature and architecture, old human remnants. So just to annoy you,
know,
so
I'm-
that was my kind of thing.
I was
Okay,
going to say
so-
something really disgusting, but I'll tell you
I
later.
must
No,
stop.
no.
This here, yeah, is going on since 3 days, 4 days, 3. Yeah,
Since Monday, since
they both
they hug, and
talking.
then they started
Yeah, and then
talking at each other.
But
Insulting
okay.
each other. I can do that.
So-
as well, though.
when I'm somewhere else, like for example, we went to the Olympic Stadium in Munich, which for those of you who don't know, what it's a really kind of, I want to say futuristic kind of building, even though it's from the 1970s. Google that if you don't know it. Please Google. Do yourself a favor and Google that Olympic
I
Stadium
will post
Munich.
hundreds of
And it's
pictures
very
of this.
simple. I have to say, it's very simple, but it's
fascinating.
fascinating.
So, and I'm lost in that because I don't, and we talked about that. I see something and say, I want to take a photo of that, but I have no idea how to do that. Not from a technical side, but from how to frame that in a way so that I will get something that I say, yes, that's it. And I I'm pretty sure, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that I could do that. But then I'd have to spend like half an hour on one photo to play around the angles, etc., etc., etc. And that's what I probably would call my style. This is not the type of photography that's what we talked about, that I really enjoy doing. This is kind of something that I'd have some people. I don't particularly enjoy the act of photography, fumbling with the camera, finding the right angle, etc. I'm the type of photographer. I see something, I say, yes, that's it, I want that, and I frame that and I press the shutter, and then I'll refine it in post sometimes, often. But I'm not the person who really enjoys it to play around with the composition.
I get that. I don't
So,
like that either.
Let me
Yeah.
one last. I know I was talking a lot about, but so my style, my style in that sense doesn't change because I don't do different type of photography. So I won't, if I'm here or there, I won't suddenly turn to an architecture photographer or to a people photographer or street photographer. So I just simply don't do it.
Yeah, okay. That's basically pretty much like you, Fern. Like you say, I don't want people and trees in pictures.
Well,
Yeah, no,
that's
no,
it.
yes.
Catchphrase.
Yes.
No people,
Yeah.
no
well,
trees.
well, yeah, but because they've been, we were in the mountains. Oh, no people, no trees, and I'm like, well, but this is trees. This is what I'm taking pictures
Yeah,
of. This is
of course. I'm not. I've made that joke 100
Yes.
times today. That's
oh my
right.
god.
But nowadays, I really.
And did you
mean-
know there's an ATM here?
Yeah, there's an ATM around the corner. I have to go there
Oh, by the
tomorrow.
way, in case you need an ATM, there's just one around the corner.
But there was this
You know,
serpentine,
Now you know it.
and people were walking on it, and Fern was talking to me like, "Whoa, that would be a great image to take." But there are people on it,
Yes.
and for me, it was like there are people on it that can make a great picture.
Yeah.
So, but that's also style, and that's where we don't change while traveling.
Yes.
When you say style, yes, of course, it's the subject that you take pictures of and the way you take pictures. But when I look at your blog and see your pictures, they look like Pete because the way of the post work you do and all, they do kind of look like you. Like Fern's architectural pictures, they do look like Fern's pictures. I think even my pictures, if they're not in bright colors, which sometimes happen, but I always see myself going back to black and white, and I did a lot of black and white this week as well. I tried colors today in the mountains because it was that great blue light, but just from looking at the small screen on my camera, I'm way more happy with the black and white again.
Yeah, no. I
So,
get it.
So this is in a way that I don't see at least the three of us, Jason, Steffi. Yeah, I think it's the same with her. That she also has kind of her style, be it in the way of taking pictures, be it in the subject or in the post process. Like with your own pictures, they are kind of Pete pictures. And
Yeah,
that's
kind of what?
Pete pictures.
Oh,
They're taken
Not
from
Pete
Pee-pee.
pictures.
Pete
Pete.
pictures.
No, no, Peter.
Pee-pee.
Pete pictures.
Did I?
We took on Monday, but that's another
Did I?
story.
Oh no. I wasn't there.
Fern wasn't there yet.
Yeah.
But still,
You
so
took Pete pictures on
Pete
Monday?
picture. No, Steffi
The
was
man
there.
You took Pete
in
pictures
the
on Monday?
S-Bahn.
There was. So you see,
That was funny.
we tried to keep
That
it.
was funny.
First, we tried to keep it civil. We also tried to keep it at our point of travel photography, but you also see that we have a lot of stories to tell. We've been together for 3 days now, and yeah, we have some kind of inside jokes here, like the ATM and
And
stuff.
it's a wonder that we didn't kill each other.
I think we were on the verge to at least
No,
these two guys.
No,
I was in
no,
between
no,
it.
no, but that's clear.
So I think it's what we kind of get along as well, pretty well, even
Yeah, see,
though
the thing is-
we try to kill each other in a way.
Fern complimented my pants, and I have
You have a
very
hole.
Why are there holes? in
That
my
is
sock?
his style too.
This
There
is
you go.
my
The
fucking
holes.
stuff.
Okay,
So
but
he
and-
complimented
and
my
socks.
pants, and
And
so
he's wearing
everything
shorts.
everything is fine.
but
so
but
you can say
but-
whatever you want. He
okay,
complimented my
but
pants.
getting back to what Steffi and I were talking about, which was
Why are
the
there
whole
holes
treason,
in my socks?
the whole
Yeah,
treason.
that is his
You
style
walk
too, the
too
hole in the
much.
socks.
Yeah, I walk too much, probably.
Yeah, but anyway, that whole thing we were, and then
So
Steffi and I
whole
with
thing.
that one building, the trees and people, or like in that building's case, it was the signs and the buildings all around it that just made it really difficult to take pictures of this really stunning. And it's just a shopping. It's just a stores. I mean, but there's something about it with these pipes that sort of just wrap around it. Not sort of wrap. They literally wrap around all the way from the front to the back. Gorgeous. But it's that limitations and stuff. But the bottom line is, I could take 100 pictures of that building, and if it didn't have what I want to feature, which is for that kind of photography, because that's the other thing. I do different kinds of photography, and I get that. Like today at the mountains, when we were at the lake, I was taking some pictures. Granted, I still tend to look for what is going to have that kind of abstracty, linear stuff. And again, if I'm taking pictures of forests, I don't want any people. Might be interesting,
Yeah.
and I agree with you, but
Yeah.
that's not what
No,
I
that's
do.
that's not what you do.
Right.
So you take your style on your travels, like I guess we all do in a way.
Right. Right. So that goes back to my question, because well, I'll answer what I think street photography. Damn it, travel photography is for us as photographers, or anybody who's a photographer, amateur or not. What you're talking about is how to present. What's that building in India? The white building. Oh my God, I can't
Taj
believe
Mahal?
the Taj Mahal, for example.
Mahal.
How would I go to the Taj Mahal and represent that in travel photography, in that kind of category, in a way that's beautiful and would make people wonder what kind of place this is and give an idea of the place? So for something like that, hold on. So for something like that, I would maybe include people. I would rather not have people because I want to show the place. But in a place like that, that's a tourist destination, that's travel photography. Now, if I'm traveling, and that's why I thought of the question, because to me, I'm traveling. I'm not doing travel photography. I'm not here. Or when I go to Sacramento, which is close to where I live, or when I go now to South Florida to visit my family over Christmas, I'm not there to take travel pictures. I'm traveling to take photographs of what I like at the Palace. I got a couple of really bizarre, I think, but the ones we were looking
That
at
was
last night.
awesome. That's awesome.
Thank you.
I hope you will post it at some
No,
point.
I will. I do like it.
Thank you.
But it's not, oh, here's the gorgeous palace. Yeah. And yes, there's so I don't do travel photography. And I'm not criticizing it, but I don't do travel photography. If I'm going to do travel photography, it's going to be the snapshots on my phone or the video on my phone. And so again, it still goes back to what we've been talking about so often on inConversation. Happy second anniversary. Happy 20th episode. Second anniversary, dude.
Happy third time on the show.
Thank you very much.
Happy first time.
Happy first
First
time.
time on the show.
Hey,
Thank
Stephanie.
you.
Hey.
You too. Okay.
Yeah. But so I think it still has to be what you're comfortable with. And I'll even go further. I know I was really glad that I think whoever brought up travel photography. The reason okay,
your idea.
So really, no, I didn't. Well, he asked me what should we talk about. So the reason I thought of travel photography isn't just because I'm traveling, but because one of the YouTubers who also has workshops and online courses. The latest course is travel photography, and this person is very famous for travel photography, and they go out and take pictures of the locations, of the animals in the ocean, and the people. But it's a specific type of photography that even the people photography, I do street people photography where I talk to them and I interview them and I ask them when I go, for example, to the Pride Parade in Sacramento, for example. But even that kind of photography that I do, and I was looking at his pictures and he does, are totally different. He has a more polished National Geographic style. I don't quite have that, but I still also have my own different. So it's a matter of hearing all of this, and that's why I really thought of this and figuring, because if I really thought about it for like a month, what is travel photography? What is this guy selling? Not that I'm criticizing him. I think he'd probably be wonderful. But where do I fit in all this? Should I take these lessons?
But that's a way different approach, isn't it? Like that's reminded me of a woman I heard talk on the Photokina. She also said, yeah, she's traveling, and then she's taking portraits of people, not just taking portraits, but she asked them as well. And she said usually they are not able to get those pictures, but they're happy just to pose for a picture and to be there for a picture. These people go on vacation to take certain pictures.
Yes.
While the way I see it, we go to a place to take the pictures we like, but we're not going there to see. Oh, I want to take the people pictures. Maybe there are some kind of places we want to see, like BMW Museum, like the Olympic Stadium, like in the Alps today. That was what I wanted. I wanted to go just to go into the Alps again. I've been there 30 years ago or something. So we go to places to take pictures we like, which are in our style in a way, just a different place. While other people go to a different place for the sake of a different place, for to take certain portraits, maybe even just take cell phone pictures to show, hey, I've been there. That can be photographers, that can't even be
And those photographs can be really good quality too. That it's not to call them snapshots.
Yeah.
Because there's some stunning photography that's done with just camera phones.
That's actually a great point, Alan. That's an amazing point. Like, you go to other places and you end up searching the same thing, like in my hometown. I love going to different cities and go to a stadium there. I live in Cologne. I haven't been able to go into the stadium there. I got close there, the surroundings, got to a couple of pictures inside, but not the pictures I was able to take here at the Olympic Stadium. When I was in Athens, I was at the old Olympic Stadium there and was able to take some pictures there, which ended up being similar to those I took in Munich, just to have a comparison of the architecture. So I see where you're going there.
Well, and it's funny because now that you mentioned that, I live in a small town in Davis, California. It's a small university town. I work at the university. That's actually where I got interested in photography, and I still walk around, take pictures of the museum there, take pictures of some of the buildings, sometimes of the same buildings I've shot before. But there's so much that fascinates me that I can still see my way and interpret my way. Like the picture, the one of that's at the museum there at the university. So it really depends on how you fit what you see into what you see, if that makes sense. So in other words, if you fit what you see into how you see as a photographer.
Yeah, but I mean? isn't that the definition of style?
Yes, and you can have a style that is wonderful for travel photography. You can have a style that's great, like the National, again, the model for that kind of photography, the National Geographic type of photography. That to me is the epitome of travel photography, because it's showing you places and cultures in ways that I'm not interested in, at least now.
Question: is travel this just came to my head? Is travel photography? Well, number one, we have. I think we have there are two sides to that. Number one is the actual act of photography and how to get to that. So what we talked in the beginning, which camera to take with us, with which lenses to take with us, which equipment, blah blah blah, that all that jazz, right? And the next one is the outcome, because that we have a certain type of photos in terms of what you call National Geographic type of photography. So a photography that makes it possible for those who haven't been there
Yes.
to see it
Exactly.
the way how probably most other people would see it who
Yes.
go there.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly it.
Did that make sense?
Because here's the thing, and what Heiko was describing about the going and taking pictures of people and talking to them is, for example, and again, beautiful project. What's that? Humans of New York?
Humans of,
Mhm.
Humans of New York. Yeah, I don't know if y'all know what Humans of New York is. I'm sure you do, but it started actually as a Tumblr, and it was this
started as a
photographer.
Tumblr. I
Yeah, you didn't know that? Oh yeah, it's
Yeah, I know the
99.
Tumblr. I thought Tumblr was
No. I'm 99% certain that is one of the Tumblr famous photographers. That's what everybody wants to be. I'm almost certain it started as a Tumblr. But the bottom line is, it's this photographer who goes, takes these portraits of people on the street and gets their story and shares parts of the story. And sometimes what's fascinating, I will say, if the stories are especially painful, the photographer will share like pictures of their hands or something about the person. Now, is that travel photography? I mean, it is about New York. It's about the people of New York. It's about trying to share the culture. But is it about people and their stories, or is it about travel photography? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but Humans of New York is mostly about, and I mean the name of the blog says it. It's about humans of New York.
Oh yes,
so
well,
very
York,
specific area and people that live.
But is it travel photography?
Let me finish. So I would say no. If good, this is not travel photography, because in my opinion, because travel photography is rather about the places than the people. Of course, people are parts of places, and we say, well, I met this person, I met these type of people, so that can be a part, but
yes, that can be a part.
It can be a part, but travel photography is more than quote unquote just stories of people. So it's rather about the story of a place that includes the story of people. So that's
thank
you probably need this after all the talking.
Yeah.
So much talking you've done.
Yeah, almost like I usually do.
So Nature Lover 69 agrees, not travel photography, in my opinion. Alok Sharma writes, we are online all the time now. Yeah, probably.
Oh, yeah, they all are.
Really?
Well, no,
I'm joking. That was me, actually.
Wait, no, that's funny. That's funny.
I'm joking.
The person.
No,
I
was curious.
No, you're not. I'm way more online than you are.
Yes, I was going to say the person I think who's been the least online is you.
Definitely Pete. Yeah,
because the three of us have been looking for stuff at work or through work. But you did some or other stuff. And I know you and I have been looking like emails from work and all that stuff. So that's interesting about being.
But that's because I'm stupid. I can only focus on one thing at a time, and so doing all the photography.
Nobody cares about
and all the Fern searching and Fern caring. So being online as well.
What? By the way, this okay. Here's a perfect example of travel photography. I almost stuck my finger in. This is a picture by someone who's in this room. Go ahead, tell the story.
You, Pete. It's your
There's
picture.
no real story. I was on the Jeep in Tsavo East National Park in Kenya. I had my camera in my hand. I saw that tree. I took a photo.
Fern wouldn't have taken the picture.
No,
Fern would have taken that picture because there are no people on it.
Well, no.
I was.
You know what's really interesting?
I was in a safari. Let me.
You're gonna finish? Oh, I thought you didn't.
I was in a safari in Tsavo East National Park in Kenya, and if that is the story that you're referring to, because I thought, okay, good. This was. Going to Kenya and doing a safari is probably, I hope not, but chances are that this is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. This is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. This is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. And so I thought, okay, if I go there, then I will at least have to bring a couple of decent photos back home to show the place where I have been. So this is indeed travel photography, or I tried travel photography, and this time in Kenya, these 9 days, or only 9 days in Kenya, were basically my start of photography in terms of not just snapping pictures, but really thinking about what to do, how to frame something. And this is still, I mean, it's one of the first photographs, not snapshots, that I made. Um, Still one of my favorite photos that I ever made. Of course, it's cropped because it was, of course, not that wide angle, but this was shot with my 1855 lens with a polarizing filter. So we talked about polarizers today and the day before, and so still, and this shot, and there, that's the point. This absolutely, for me, is the embodiment, the absolute picture of the of Tsavo East National Park. So that's my impression. That's really my impression of Tsavo East National Park.
I mean, it's a travel
It's
photograph.
a travel
So
photograph.
to your point, by the way, I would have taken the exact exact same location.
Yeah.
But because I have taken pictures like this, because where I live, there's areas that are like this. Like we were talking earlier,
Yeah.
and I said where I live, there's lots of trees and farmland and all this stuff. But usually it's either just farmland or it's very dry because that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
And I've actually taken a picture like this a while back. It would be in black and white. The composition would be different, and I probably would have done it portrait and make it look in a totally different way than he did.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an interesting point because that's one of the reasons I love this.
See, now for me it was in that case it was, and to go to the Mazet who wrote on the chat, maybe to show how you saw the place you were, Pete, isn't it? Exactly that. And in that shot, and this is, I think this exactly is the point. This is travel photography. Why? Because what I saw, what I was there, what impressed me was first and foremost like the depth of the landscape, the wideness, and the colors. So that's what I wanted to picture. If it would have been about photography, first and foremost, not about the place, then I would have shot that in black and white.
This is
Definitely.
called photography, guys.
This is
What's
called
that?
photography. Exactly, yeah.
Yes.
So
Right.
basically, we're doing photography.
So we're talking about photography. So
Yes.
that was
Yeah.
so
Just
back
being on
at the beginning.
travels.
That was the announcement what we
Yes.
had. We were talking about
And it's
photography.
been done the 20th time now. At least in conversation.
Yes.
Okay,
it was
so-
20th.
How long have we been on? Have we been on?
1.5 hour.
1.5 hours.
Okay, I think it's time to go because I'm falling asleep, y'all. I'm
Again?
tired.
You
Shut
just
up.
slept an hour before this show.
Oh, I took a nap, but I'm just tired. I'm sorry. You don't well, I don't know if I you know, they're gonna think I'm walking around because I don't speak German, but I understand the idea of the language just a little. And I'm walking around looking at signs going, ooh, what is it? Getränke, Getränke, Getränke. And I'm reading all these signs like a
Becoming
3-year-old
French.
learning how to read and trying to figure out the money. Like today, wait, it's two euros. And half the time I'll say $2, sure. And it's like, no, wait. So I am tired as shit.
He also just walked about 40 kilometers these last 3 days.
yeah.
so-
Jeez.
So I need to go to sleep. The other thing is, I will be in Germany. I'll be in Stuttgart, but that's just for 2 days, and I really only want to go to the Porsche Museum. This is a plug in case anybody wants. Well, no, because in case anybody
I
in
know
Berlin
you want to meet
or in
people.
Frankfurt wants to meet up, I'll post it also. I'll post the dates. That would be wonderful. You know, I mean, I'd love to, because that's one of the things. So now I've met 1, 2, 3. I've met, I think, 10 tumblers. Yeah, because there's Christina, Sam.
So let me
Gator.
plug this. If you ever come to Cologne, give me a heads up on Tumblr. Might give you a good show there or a good tour. I think we can do a good tour in 4 hours, Steffi. For
Yeah.
Cologne, 4 hours. You get a great
4
tour.
hours, Cologne.
So
Perfect.
then we will come to Paris to meet you, Mazet. And yeah, a lot of things can happen.
We will
Just
haunt you.
this is just an open invitation.
Yes.
You come to Cologne, hit me up.
Hmm.
We'll show you some places. Maybe if you have some interest, we can. I work out a tour.
Okay,
And-
Steph.
Let the woman talk.
Steph just told me that I have to because these guys invited you to meet up. So I have to also apparently that's what she said. If you're in around the area of Munich because I'm not directly in Munich.
Gorgeous.
Steph
It's
is in
a
Munich.
really cool town. I love it here, I have to
So
say.
then yeah, of course, please. Now, all joking aside, of course, please message me. I will be coming to Munich because I'm not too far away. No problem whatsoever. I'd love to. I can show Steph. Certainly can also show you guys a couple of cool places to take photos. I mean, Fern saw what we have to show here, and we will be around for tomorrow and sadly he has to
Saturday.
go on Saturday, so we'll be
I'll be leaving tomorrow.
Heike will be leaving tomorrow,
Mm.
so we'll be seeing a couple of things tomorrow.
Right. And I want to add because
Oh yes, hit us up.
Yes, but
Please do
now
so.
now that's my being here. But if and it's interesting because the was it the third the third tumbler I met was Guido Guiche or Guiche 73 who was visiting, who was in San Francisco. So I live like an hour away from San Francisco. So I took off from work early. We drove around San Francisco. We had dinner, had a wonderful time with him and his now husband. And they were the ones who invited me to Frankfurt, to Germany 3 years ago. Well, 4 years ago. And that's when I came the first time. So yeah, if anybody's out in San Francisco, or if you're in that Bay Area, or if you're like in Sacramento, which is like 15 minutes from where I live, please, let me know, or if you want to come to the university, and hang out, whatever. Yeah, let me know. I mean, it's a gorgeous area, and I've actually with Guido, and then with with Janet and her husband, also last year in San Francisco, they'd stopped over for a couple of days and went on to Canada and gave them a day trip around San Francisco, took great photographs of the Golden Gate, had a wonderful dinner, had a wonderful time. So yeah, the same invitation. Yeah, you three, not so much.
Shut up.
Oh.
No, I'm kidding. Of course, I'm kidding. But yeah, let me know.
I'm still not sure if we
Where's
love each
that
other or
book?
hate each other, but they're awesome.
Anyway,
No,
so
I
let's
killed it.
end.
Let's end.
Yes, and
Unless anybody has comments or anything.
Okay, well,
we're invited to Paris. Then there is someone who is another. What's it? Natural lovers.
Nature Lover 69 Jennifer says it's been a great show. Mazette invites us to Paris, and Nature Lover 69
Yeah, she
writes,
feels invited.
"Invitations
So
note." Yes, of course, Jennifer. Come over here. We'll have a couch. I guess
Yeah,
we also have a couch.
I also have a couch. Yeah.
So we'll have a couch.
I don't know
For
you. No, yes, same thing, for real. Yeah,
So,
Yeah. Wrap it up, Pete.
wrap it up. Thank you so very much for being with us tonight on this unusual date. Well, on Thursday, on this unusual place, in this unusual show. This was the 20th In Conversation, 2 years in conversation with Fern
I know,
Kubi
right?
and
I'm gonna start
Steph
crying.
Scholar.
Don't!
And
You
Oh.
didn't
myself.
cry until now. You made 3 days without.
And our frequent guest
Thanks
that
for
time on the
having me.
show,
It was
Heiko. Well, we did something together not too long ago, right?
Oh yeah, that
Which
was also fun.
Next time in November,
Yes.
probably when you
Yes.
will be back in
Yeah.
the
Oh
US.
yeah, I'll be back. Yeah.
We'll be having a show about. We're going to talk about female photographers, and Jennifer, Nature Lover 69, already said she will be on the show. So please, 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 if you want to be part of that, you don't have to travel to Munich. You can do that via Hangouts. You can be on the show either on video with a webcam or just on audio.
Right.
No problem at all. We had a couple of guests in the past, so please, 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 just message either Fern or yours truly. And we will also continue with, but we're going to make a post about that. We will also continue with the photo critiques. So if you want us to talk about your photos, get in touch with us, send us your photos or a link to your photo or whatever. If you want us to talk about your photos, we did that last time. It was huge fun.
Yes.
Last time it was a bit long with 1.5 hours, but that was simply because we had a couple of photos and Fern had more time than he usually thought he'll have. So this will be like a 20-minute thing that we're gonna do and not
we can
longer.
do four photos.
Four
We'll choose
photos.
four photos,
Last
I
time we
think.
did like
5
10
minutes
or
apiece.
something.
5 minutes apiece. And it's more
So
than
we're
enough.
gonna. Yeah, this was for today. I think this one's for October, and this one's for the 20th episode of inConversation.
So who are they?
Wow, right.
Their Tumblr and their. Go ahead.
Tumblr.
No,
We'll do that. That's heikoheterotopian.tumblr.com.
You start with the ladies.
Yeah, I did.
Oh!
Oh, sorry. Then
Well, what does that say about you? Oh my God!
Uh,
I don't want to know.
Oh,
Me
oh,
neither.
you're the youngest, right?
Yes.
Heiko's older than. I don't know.
Thank you.
Yes.
He's actually just a couple of 2 weeks older than I am.
okay, that's fascinating.
And I'm 6 years younger.
And you're an old grumpy uncle.
I'm old. I'm old. I'm old and loving it.
No.
Getting
I
old
that's
rules.
why you-
Anyway,
Have
who
an
are you?
Okay.
enemy.
I started from left to right.
But then you owe me a lens.
Oh,
Oh, you can also bake a cake.
that's right.
You have the greatest.
owe you a lens. We're
Yeah.
gonna talk about that later on the
Yes.
camera as
I
well.
think that's
So
gonna be
let me
next
wrap that
show.
up.
Older.
heikoheterotopian.tumblr.com, member of PWS Photos Worth Seeing on Tumblr, so Photos Worth Seeing in one word, .tumblr.com. Steffi Ramona, STEPHIROMN.
Team member of PWS.
The links will be in the description. And also .tumblr.com and ramonasPhotos.tumblr.com.
And
also member of PWS Photos
Oh,
Worth Seeing.
Mhm.
Let me just simply talk. Photos Worth Seeing.
I don't let him talk.
No.
You
want
Just a few
everybody to
reps
shut up.
today.
We're never going to wrap this up.
And
And qbn-scholar.tumblr.com, admin of luxlit.net and luxlit.tumblr.com, and yours truly, my name's Pete. I like pictures. My photography blog is tvum.tumblr.tumblr. It's time that we wrap up.
Yeah,
I'm telling you,
absolutely.
Tumblr.com,
we should all be tired.
TVOO.
Yeah.
I'm fucking tired. tvwoom.tumblr.com, and also I'm one of the guys of Photos Worth Seeing, and that's it. And I'm gonna find my mouse. I'm gonna stop
Peace
the
out.
broadcast. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Till next time.
Yeah, not this.
Not this.
Stop broadcast.